Now I am going to introduce the phenomenal Gina Gardiner. Yes, the woman behind all of this, the vice chair of Fatima's UK campaign, who has worked so blooming hard with Fatima to make today happen. If you've seen her running around and you haven't been able to grab hold of her, it's because the woman never stops. I don't even think she sleeps. I got an email at midnight one night and I was like, go to bed. But it's because she cares. Gina is a multiple #1 international best-selling author, radio host, motivation and radical change catalyst speaker, and Gina won the International Book of Honour Awards in 2023 and is noted for her outstanding contributions to fostering a positive living leadership legacy, inspiring individuals to lead with excellence, integrity and positivity, shaping a better future for all. Gina, are you there? A huge round of applause, please. She's been phenomenal today.
Firstly, I'd like to say to all of you, thank you very much for coming. Believe you'll fail, it's a done deal. Believe you might fail, and you're going to take very different decisions to if you believe you'll succeed, even if success looks a long way away and you don't know how you're going to get there. As you know, I'm Gina Gardiner, and a little bit about my background, and the reason I'm going to tell you this is because I'm going to share with you a very personal story, one that I've shared with many, and the reason I'm going to share it with you is because as you leave this hall, what I want every one of you to believe is that together we can succeed. I started off life as a teacher, and I became a head teacher very early. I was the deputy of a school, and within 6 months I went off skiing, fell about 200 feet down a mountain, and life has never been the same again. And I ran my school for the most part from a wheelchair. Now, the gift of that was that I had to develop a very different way to engage people to take radical responsibility for their own performance and a shared responsibility for the team. As a result, the school was highly successful, and we were on the best 100 schools list twice during my tenure. But I was working a 16, 17-hour day because I was going out to earn an income for technology and special needs. It's interesting that since I've been working with Fatima, and I blame Harold, who's in the hall, because we met when we were both doing a keynote speech, that I have been back to be doing the 16, 17-hour day. In 2004, I was given an ultimatum by the neurologist who said, stop doing what you're doing or you'll be housebound. And so I made the very difficult decision to retire. But I wasn't ready to retire. In fact, I don't think I'm ever going to be ready to retire. And so I did a research project across industries to look at what does great leadership look like. And for me, it's about leading yourself first, taking radical responsibility for your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, your words, and then using that to lead other people. And so one of the things that I did when I first set up my business was to go and do a lot more learning, and I became an NLP master practitioner, neuro-linguistic programming. And I decided to go and watch as many people using it as I could. And there were people who NLP'd you, and there were people who were great. I ended up at the Excel Centre in London to see Tony Robbins. Now, many of you may be familiar with him. He's probably the best-known motivational coach. He is huge. He's about 6'8", and when I was in my wheelchair, I actually came up to his knees. There were 10,000 people on the course, and I looked at what he was offering in America and thought, I'd really like to do that. But I dismissed it because I didn't have an electric travel chair, and at that time I'd had a spinal stimulator fitted, but I could only walk a very few steps unaided. But what they did have was they had a fire walk. Anybody here done a fire walk? I know you have. Well, a fire walk is when you walk across hot coals in bare feet. If you are in the right mindset, you don't get burnt. 9,990 people did the fire walk, and I was determined to do it. So it's about the width of this hall over hot coals. Could I have the fire walk slide, please? okay? And they really are hot coals. But if you have got the right mindset, you don't get burned. With somebody holding each arm, I did the fire walk and I was ecstatic. I sat back down in my wheelchair, and the guy behind me was a double amputee. He tipped himself up onto his hands because he had no legs below the knee, and he walked across those hot coals on his hands. Now, despite the fact that I worked around the country, I worked for the National College of Leadership, for the London Institute, I was a workforce reform advisor, I went around the country earning an income, I always had the same taxi driver pick me up, take me, bring me back. I dismissed going to California, this course he was talking about in the morning, because I thought, I'm never going to manage. I saw that guy do the walk on his hands, booked my flight, booked my ticket, flew to California, did all Tony Robbins' courses, became a senior leader for him. And what I learned was the only thing that's going to stop you is you. The only thing that's going to stop us collectively making a difference is if any one of you decides that you don't believe it's possible. Today is important, but it's just the catalyst. If you leave this room and you have not made that vow to yourself that you're going to make contact with people, that you're going to work together, that you're going to break the silos down, then we've failed. But when I look at the passion in this room, when I listen to those youngsters this morning, I reckon that we have the power collectively to make all the difference in the world. Somebody said to us, why are you doing it in the Guildhall and not doing it somewhere less expensive? Particularly as we've had to raise every penny in order to put on this event. And the reason for that is we wanted to make a statement. And that statement is you are seen, you are heard, you are important, and you are valued. Please sign your pledge tree forms. Please sign the petition. Protected characteristics is one of the things on there. We've spoken to professionals. We've not just made them up. They've come from all the professionals we've spoken to. Aligned action, small steps consistently taken, and we will make a difference. Thank you very much.